My name is Christian Basel. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hangin web show, this is the legend of the Traveling Tardis. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend. And welcome back, fellow Whovians, to the legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show on iHeart, iTunes, wherever you can find us out in the Whoniverse. Google us. You will find us on YouTube. We are now live on YouTube. And for those of you who are just checking us out now, you're watching this live. I'm hoping you are. You can participate in a YouTube chat that's going on right now on this premiere, if you're catching us on YouTube, and talk with your favorite Doctor Who Legend, the Traveling TARDIS radio show personalities. We get to talk back to you as well there about the topic for today. And for those of you just joining us, I think the weekend's coming up over there. We want to wish you all a very safe and happy Halloween for everybody that's going out today. But first of all, I want to introduce our Halloween special guests today. First of all, returning our panelists, my friend, artist Melanie Dean. Hello, Melanie. How are you?
Hello, Christian. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Yay.
Happy Halloween.
And for those of you just joining us, welcome there as well. And from Diversely Geek, the lovely Neisha Mulchan. How are you doing there, Neisha? How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. Doing really good. I'm so happy to get back again. I've been away for so long. So
awesome. Well, welcome. Where did you come from? What were you doing?
Well, you guys know I was on the road for a while.
Yes.
A lot of traveling at
New York Comic Con.
Yeah, I was at
Yeah, you were out there, yeah.
I got 3 in that short time, that time I was gone. And I did some moderating, and I led a couple panels, and I did quite a bit of interviews, for the Tiffin, because I'm already working on the next book. And I am already on the second phase of our research project for the National Institute of Health.
That is awesome. Well, welcome back.
I am telling the world it's cool to be a geek. So
it's cool to be a geek.
Cool to be a geek.
Everybody should know that by now. All of our Whovians out there, especially if you're listening, you are cool out there. You're
yes,
awesome because you're listening to us down there. And returning as well, YouTube's Dr. Freedom himself. You got to check him out. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell, especially with our YouTube channel, because notifications aren't working out there. Mr. Brian Burress. How you doing there, Brian? Welcome back.
Oh, pretty good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Surviving.
Yeah.
Enjoying it. Yes. And for their first time on the show, well, for his first time on the show, because Geeky just is making some pillows tonight, we have Neon from Clownfish TV. Check it out on YouTube. Please subscribe. And again, hit that notification bell. They are trying to hit 100,000 subscribers, and they are making their way up there pretty fast there. How are you doing tonight, Neon?
Doing great. Hey, thanks for the invite.
You can do me a favor, just send some of those people our way. All
Oh,
those
might be able to do that.
All right. And for our fans who may not be familiar, our listening audience tonight, and for those on the YouTube, if you're on YouTube, you already know about Clownfish TV. But Neon, tell us a little bit about Clownfish TV and also your website. I think it's the Pirates and Princess. Please elaborate on those things.
Well, we basically complain about things on the internet. That's what we do, and it was a complete accident too. We started out playing games. I started out playing games with my son, and then we started talking more about pop culture. And I used to work in comics, and Geeky joined in, and we just we do complain. People are like, "Oh, you guys are just a bunch of haters," but we complain because we're passionate, because we care about pop culture. We care about, Doctor Who. We care about Star Wars. We care, and if you love something, sometimes you're gonna be pretty passionate about, some of the things that maybe you think could be better. I don't know. Constructive criticism. That's what we're going to call it. Constructive
That's
criticism.
cool. That's cool. And I think everybody should have an open dialogue about what they want to criticize about. I have a friend of mine named Patty Hawkins, who people come out and talk to him about there's certain episodes of Doctor Who, and when he discusses it, he goes, they've been around for 50 some odd years. They've had almost 800 episodes. You think maybe a few just go not too well, like Fear Her and all those episodes out there. So yeah, we love for it. We just want to keep things in check. Is that something that I could that would say be true about what you guys do, you and Geeky Sparkles?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we just give our armchair opinions, and it just seems that there are a lot of pop culture's been very polarizing lately. It's been a very it's really unfortunate because it almost feels like it's almost become like a battleground. It used to be something that brought everybody together. I mean, people could put their differences aside and watch TV show or movie, and now everything's a fight. And it's just kind of crazy. But we just kind of weigh in with our opinions, and I guess people agree with us because they're watching us. I don't know, but
okay.
we talk about
stalkers.
I don't know, but we do talk a lot about Disney because we worked in and around the Walt Disney Company for years. Used to work on Disney comics, so we have a website, piratesandprincesses.net, where we give brutally honest opinions on the state of the Walt Disney Company, for better or for worse. I don't think we're getting invited to any media events anytime soon, but hey, is what it is.
So guys, if you haven't had a chance right now, you can pause right now, give a subscription like to Neon and the friendly folks over at Clownfish TV. Give a love and a subscribe and hit that notification button on not only for the Hanging with Web team, who I'm going to be turning over the Who Knew News in just a second there, but also for Dr. Freedom. You got to check out his stuff. He always puts out some news articles whenever something drops on the fly. He brings out and he makes this discussion and has a wonderful take on it out there. And you definitely want to check out Diversely Geek. Do you guys got a YouTube channel? Yes, you do, right?
We do have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, there you go.
A year of content. And we have a lot more coming up. We probably have about 20 videos coming up and interviews from over the last 3 conventions. So
gotcha there. And when Melanie has a YouTube channel, we will put her into the mix out there. But speaking of YouTube channels, first of all, I'm going to turn over the Who Knew News with our Who Knew News girl, Sage Ia. But I don't want to describe that because we just kind of grew up too, because we are now part of the HWWS family of podcasts. Can you explain what's going on with that? Or Sage, tell us about how people can subscribe, because they can catch episodes of The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS on YouTube and see us when we do this stuff.
They can indeed. HWWS WebTV. .com. So always have to have the .com. And we have a variety of shows that you can catch. We have our flagship show, the Hangin with Web show, which are our interviews with creators of all kinds, filmmakers, authors, cosplayers, actors, you name it. We have them in the chair. We also have the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Here you go.
And you can catch the behind the scenes action. We have Jay Bauer Art, who does his time-lapse live paintings, which are amazing to watch. There is the Orlando Wizard, who goes all around the Orlando area to check out different attractions and things that you might have missed, which is a lot of fun, especially if you're planning a trip to come over to our wonderful Sunshine State. And coming soon, we will have Lupo, Lee, and G movie reviews, so you can get a taste of what's out there in the cinema before you go and watch it, so you know what to expect. We also have the main event with Kevin and Mia, which is a look at life from the cheap seats, as they say it, which is just a lot of goofy fun, observations on life. It's definitely a lot of fun. And we also have Saturday morning cartoons for the child within all of us, which is a nostalgic look back at our Saturday morning cartoons with Mark B. Lee, Jerome Connor, and Rosemary Rose. And we're always adding fresh content, so you can always come to the channel and find some stuff. That's right.
Yeah, there's total content out there just by joining the HWWS on YouTube, and you can listen to Legend of Traveling TARDIS. Indie Music Spotlight. Almost forgot about that. Did we mention that?
We do have the Indie Music Spotlight for all of our amazing musicians that we have talked to on the air. I know folks love to hear about how they made their journey, but one of the things they also want to hear is all of their music. And so we go live on Sunday and we play 2 hours of music, and you can find that on Spreaker, of course, / Indie Music Spotlight. Just look up HWWS Indie Music Spotlight. And of course, that goes to iHeart and CBSSradio.com and iTunes and Spotify and all those fun places. But we play 2 hours of independent music from singers and songwriters around the globe. Pretty sweet.
There you go. All right. Well, speaking of pretty sweet, let's get to the Who Knew News before we get that commercial break. Go for it, Sage.
Okay, well, my first bit of news, I forgot to mention this on last week's news. Did you know that Jodie Whittaker has officially become a doctor?
Yes.
Is that
A real doctor?
an actual doctor? Yes. Thanks to Sheffield Hallam University. They actually awarded an honorary doctorate to the entire casting crew that was involved in the Series 11 premiere of the show, The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
So that includes Chibnall and everybody there?
Yes, Chibnall and everybody. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. Neon, what do you think about a doctor being a real doctor on Doctor Who?
That's like Doctorception here. This is like crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. My next bit of news, which is kind of, and I'm sure everybody has seen it, is the new feature length, right? Doctor Who: The Edge of Time. And that is actually planning to launch November 12th of this year. So they've released new artwork for the game, and that will feature multiple references to the series. But the Edge of Time is action, adventure, and sci-fi, and the players are equipped with a sonic screwdriver to solve puzzles and escape treacherous environments, and you get to come up against Doctor Who classic monsters, all within virtual reality. So, and you can escape from weeping angels. That's kind of, I would escape to.
This kind of yeah, exactly. There, and this is coming out in November, right? This is next month, correct?
November 12th is when it comes out. But they've released new artwork for it, and it's just kind of, it's all out there, yeah. So,
what else is in the news today, Sage?
This was really interesting. And I had to look because it's at the Foley Public Library who announced a Doctor Who Day. And I was like, well, where's the Foley Public Library? And it's in Alabama. And they are actually having a Doctor Who Day. And they're encouraging all the folks who come to visit, especially the kids, to dress in costume, their favorite doctor or a favorite villain. And they're going to give prizes out to everybody who shows up in costume. And they're also going to have a Who Am I spinning wheel. So anybody who wants to come and they can spin and they have to guess the Doctor Who villains based on the picture, which is to encourage the kids to come out and love Doctor Who. And I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
That sounds incredibly awesome. Yeah, that would be kind of fun for the kids out there. Anything else in the news today, Sage?
That is all of the Who Knew news that I have today. You can always catch more news at thelegendofthetravelingtardis.com.
That's right, folks. This the Legend of the Traveling Tardis.com will be launching. Not only do we have the most spookiest holiday coming up on October 31st, but we're going to have our website premiering there. So speaking of websites, we got to pay the bills. So please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and continue to become part of the legend. And welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show. My name is Christian Basel. I am here with Dr. Freedom himself, Brian Burress. I am here with Diversely Geeks Neisha Mulchan. I am here with artiste Melanie Dean and our special guest, first time on the show, Clownfish TV with Neon. Everybody, welcome back there. And we welcome everybody to our final episode of this year's Halloween special. And for those of you who are celebrating, please be safe out there and have a great time. I got a quick question for everybody. Is anybody dressing up Doctor Who for Halloween? Is anybody even coming close to doing anything for Doctor Who this on the 31st? Everybody's
Unfortunately, I'm not, only because at work everyone has to do different themes, and our little side of marketing, our section of marketing ended up going with a Harry Potter theme. So I will be Moaning Myrtle this time around.
Aw, that's going to be awesome.
I am going to cover my Ravenclaw robes all in powder and my head and everything else. So yeah, I'm going to be Moaning Myrtle.
Gotcha there. Dr. Freedom, what are you doing for Halloween?
For Halloween, let's see, is that on a weekday this time around? I wasn't sure.
It's a Thursday.
I'll be at work. I'll be disguised as the typical worker guy who's like, people think is awake, but is actually not.
Oh my. Neisha, what you doing for Halloween?
Well, we have themes also. So our little pot of the practice dresses in one theme. So I think we're doing. I may throw some Doctor Who in there though, because it's a 70s theme, so I can do that. Now you're giving me an idea.
Oh, that would be so cool.
There you go.
No, I don't have much time to prepare it, but fine, I'll get it done.
Get thee to a thrift store.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, hey, Leon, what are you and Geeky Sparkles doing with the family out there?
I think we're going to go trick-or-treating. That's what we do every year. So we, I think my son, if I remember correctly, he's going as a graffiti wall, and he's going to have people write on him. And he wants people to write on him. And then my daughter is going as the tightrope walker from the Haunted Mansion. So she's got her parasol, she's got her dress, the whole thing. So yeah, big Haunted Mansion fans here.
That's awesome.
What's she doing special? She's going to walk like with one foot in front of the other foot kind of deal when she's walking around?
I think she's going to try not to get killed. But no, I don't know. I've seen the outfit. It looks really cute, and I know Geeky ordered a special parasol for her, and she was buying tights for today, and yeah. So I usually don't dress up. I'm scary enough in person. I don't have to dress up.
Well, today we have a very odd episode, and I know everybody was giving me weird and strange looks when I came up with this idea of who the scariest doctor is, and everybody hear me out. As you heard in the beginning of the show, the master going like, "There's some evil in all of us, Doctor, even you," and I'll tell you what spawned on this episode. If you remember, when I was a kid, and Brian, this always used to freak me out when I was a kid out there. The intro to Tom Baker, not the Starfield one, the original intro to Tom Baker when he's doom 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 doom, and you see his face form, and he's looking at you on the TV. That messed me up as a kid. I literally, and I tell you this, and I don't know how to explain it. When I was a kid, anytime his face would form on the TV, I froze. It didn't matter what I was doing. If I was sitting on the couch, if I was just, eating popcorn or something like that, if I was just walking, I froze. I don't know why. I had to do that. Neisha, is there something wrong with me on that one?
No. Actually, that used to freak me out just as much. So I feel it on that one.
So I'm not the only one that got freaked out by that field. And plus, what do you think, Brian? I mean, did that freak you out too as well?
He's looking at you,
Oh my God.
And that look on his face, he's so damn somber. It's like, but that's why I almost lost it when Family Guy did that Star Wars parody and they go to hyperspace and it's the opening Tom Baker theme.
Oh, yes.
So I used to, when I was a kid, I used to think that the Doctor Who theme song was "Call Me" by Blondie. I don't know why, because it sounds like, if you think about it, you put the two together, it sounds. I was like, oh, I know that song you play on the radio. That's a Doctor Who song. That's
Melanie put it up there. She just went all psychedelic on
For
us.
our YouTube visitors are going to keep seeing it.
See it.
I just want you to sit here and not move. This is how you're going to do it, right?
I'm just going to keep doing this Christian the entire rest of the show. So everyone else, let's count how many times he's going to keep stopping. Sorry, y'all.
So yeah, that Starfield, that image used to freak me out when I was a kid out there, and I don't know why it's started spawning this idea, because I remember the scene where the master said, there's some evil in all of us, Doctor, even you. So I always want to ask a question. We've always asked, with other shows, they go like, well, what's the scariest episode? What's the scariest monster? What's the scariest actor? Oh, I have no problem with that one. He's cool. He's even smiling. If you're not seeing this on the YouTube channel, earlier, Melanie was putting up the actual the intro to the fourth Tom Baker Doctor, the original stuff, and now she's putting up the neon sign, no pun intended, the neon sign logo for Doctor Who. And I said, that doesn't bother me. He's smiling the whole time, so he's cool. So I was thinking, is there a doctor that scares you? That I mean, that kind of just threw you up because we've seen the doctor at times go evil. And I've always wondered if that mean streak has always reflected on the doctor's personality to make him the scary person or her the scary person in the room. We've seen that. Now, what I've done is we're playing, we're just doing a little bit of a game here. What I've done is I've asked our panelists to pick one doctor that scares them the most. And they've done a little bit of a polling. We asked them what was their top 3 scariest doctors, and we're going to ask each of our panelists who is the scariest doctor, and from the polling that we did amongst our panelists, we're going to determine which doctor is the scarier doctor out of all of them. Which doctor scares you and why? So without further ado, we're going to start off with our special guest who arrived today. Did I say arrive? It's arrive. It's arrive. It's arrive.
And it begins.
I'll look it up later there. Neon.
Oh,
who
no.
is the doctor that scares you the most?
Well, I had a couple that scared me. Now, the thing about the doctor is, like you're saying, is like the doctor always seems like there's a ticking time bomb underneath the surface. You know, the doctor's smiling, but even Tom Baker, like he was smiling, but it was a creepy smile. You know, he's covering up for some stuff. But ultimately, I went with 6. And the reason I went with 6 is because if you, I actually sent you this article. If you go to health.com and you look up the signs of a sociopath, 6 has all of them. 6 is a legitimate sociopath. And I didn't realize, I knew watching 6, you know, when I was a kid, and, you know, a lot of times I missed the regeneration episodes. So I'm like, why is there some other guy as the doctor? But I know I didn't like 6 at all. I'm like, he's mean. He's very, very mean. But as an adult, it's like 6 has a lot of other issues going on, and 6 is probably could easily go the dark side. I think more so than any of the other doctors, because he didn't really hide it, you know.
Which is funny because he actually got to see his dark side in the Trial of the Time Lord.
Yeah, and I kind of
which is kind of a freaky thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder if that wasn't intentional, and I wonder what would have happened had he had, you know, Colin Baker had a longer run. You know, would we have seen this darker doctor? You know, was that, you know, something that they were sort of alluding to, that he would eventually become an incarnation of the Valeyard, you know? But yeah, I mean, it's scary. You look up the symptoms of a sociopath, and 6 has them all. Is
that right, Neisha?
Well, here I will.
Oh, no. I believe the article. I just. Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, actually, to be fair, well, I think it's what Colin brought to the character. So I actually am going to really defer on this one.
Okay.
That he brought a very strong sense of disregard and arrogance to the character, and that really did I think represent him as a darker doctor.
Do you think it was just because he's more rude that made him scarier? Or
didn't say rude.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not gonna put that in your mouth.
He was a very, very arrogant doctor.
Yes.
So arrogance can hide a lot of negative things behind it. So
gotcha there. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, and not to mention he's the first doctor to actually throttle his companion, which kind of was off-putting to a lot of people.
Oh, you beat me to it. I was about to say 2 words.
You can say it. Strangle. Say it. No, I'm going to give you this. Go ahead and say it. Say it.
Companion strangle.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, go ahead.
Hey, I was being PC, but fine. I will no longer be PC. We got it.
We don't be PC on this show. Are you kidding me?
Hey, man.
But you know what the saddest part about that whole scene was?
What's that?
The fact that when it was happening, I'm like, why couldn't this have happened in Incarnation earlier? And Adric got strangled.
Oh, no.
Come on, Perry's a sweet, innocent girl. Adric, annoying.
I feel so bad for Matthew Waterhouse. He's always got it was like, if there was a companion you would kill off and bring back, it would be like, let's bring back Dodo Chaplet and then kill off Adric for an exchange. And I was just like, oh my goodness, why does Well, I got to confess, Adric was annoying. It was just like, yeah, anybody want to kick him out of the TARDIS anytime soon, please.
Yeah, I don't hate him. I just like to pick on him.
Well, one thing about the Sixth Doctor that I have to admit was frightening was that he could get loud, but then he could get louder, and then still get even louder. It was just his shouting. To me, that's just scary. It's like it would just unhinge me.
Well, no,
his shouting was about making sure that he heard himself above everything else. It was about drowning everything around him out. That's what I was meaning about his darkness. I think that's where the pathological nature comes in with the sociopath, is like it's all about this moment and who I am, and everything else does not matter.
Yeah. Neon, have you heard Big Finish with Colin Baker? Have you heard the episode?
I haven't heard any of his. No, I haven't.
No, that's fine. I was going to use that as an example because he's mellowed out on Big Finish. I mean, he finally became the Doctor that he was supposed to be evolving into, and I think that's why people could not, swallow the Sixth Doctor pills, because they thought, oh God, he's arrogant, he's a jerk, he's killing his companion. Who the heck is he? But we didn't realize that there was an actual progression, which actually Peter Capaldi was trying to do with his Doctor, to be this old mean guy, and then soften the blow. Just mellow out as it goes over. And then I kind of wish, I don't want to get into the Capaldi thing. We'll talk about it if somebody has a Capaldi thing. But Colin Baker, I can attest, pretty scary on that. What do you got? What do you four think?
Okay, Big Finish, if you're listening, I would pay you money, big money. Put the Sixth Doctor in one scene with Donna Noble.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I always wanted to see 9 with Donna Noble.
Got snaps.
Just the sass. Oh, there's so much sassing going around.
Well, speaking of Donna Noble, because I am the worst segue person in the world, so that's what I'm going to go to. We're going to go to a commercial break. When we get back, we're going to continue to talk more about our Halloween special and the scariest Doctor out in the universe when we return and continue to become part of the legend. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Legend of Traveling Tardis. Thank you to continue on listening. Please continue always to help our sponsors out over here. It means a lot when you take care of our sponsors. They take care of us, and we make sure that we provide you the best Doctor Who podcast and radio show out there on iHeartRadio, now on YouTube, on Spreaker, Spotify, wherever you can listen to us in the Whoniverse. You just Google The Legend of the Traveling Tardis, and we're somewhere. I found I talked about this earlier, and I'm not trying to promote something, but if you want to make money listening to your favorite podcast, Podcoin, I found that out. Now you really have to listen to a lot of podcasting, but hey, if you listen to enough podcasts, you make a little bit of change, and I think you get things like Starbucks cards or Amazon cards. But I found that out, and I kind of signed up. But wherever you want to listen to us in the Whoniverse, we're talking iHeartRadio, we're talking YouTube, everywhere. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to our Halloween special as we get closer to the 31st of October. We're continuing our discussion with the scariest Doctor Who out there. And we're going to continue with our discussion with Neisha Mulchan.
Oh.
Neisha, who's your scariest
Sorry, Neisha, just you're like, what?
Doctor? Yeah, front and center. You guys got to see this. If you're listening to us, you got to see this on the YouTube channel, because every once in a while, when you see that little quirk or thing that happens every now and then, it's awesome to watch there live on camera there. Neisha, who's your scariest Doctor? Tell us.
God. And did we not have a quagmire with me making this decision? Okay. You were like, nope, not allowed. Nope, not allowed. Nope.
I said the same at first.
Oh my God. So I'm actually going to go with. So I believe I agree with Neon. But I actually went with. And don't kill me, audience. The Doctor, because I know this would be a bit controversial. But
why is that controversial?
Because he's absolutely beloved, and he still ranks as the number one favorite Doctor, in all polls. So Well, he does. I absolutely adore Matt Smith in this character. I adore the vibrosity and the velocity of Matt Smith.
Uh-huh.
But why? Because I feel that he brings an intensity to the emotion. He can turn anger with the smallest smile. He can turn ferocious with a flip of a hand. Matt, especially, I always think about the Rings of Akaton. And then, but there are many other episodes too. There's Nightmare in Silver. There's with him as Clever, and there's some dream episodes where I feel Into the TARDIS, for instance, where he embodies the darkness of all of the years of the pain and the suffering that has been experienced by the Doctor with inside of the TARDIS, and all of the pain and suffering that he has absorbed from all of the countless worlds around him. Mm-hmm. And he explodes it. He just explodes it, which is why I always feel like he played the character with so much velocity and so much movement, because there was so much intensity to his to the negative and the positive emotion. And I think that because of that, that's why we have an episode like Pandorica, where all of time and space connived and contrived to work together in order to imprison him, because he was the most dangerous being. So
can I elaborate on more of this? Because I think the episode that kind of makes me scared of him is, oh God, please, somebody, The Beast Below.
The Beast Below.
In that one scene where he has to make the decision where he's got to kill the whale or and save all those people, and he literally unloads on Liz 10 and Amy right then and there, because he's in a position where he doesn't want to be, and he and pardon the pun, Neon, he has a Sixth Doctor moment right there. I think he knows. And I was listening to what you said. Do you think that anger is his weapon?
I feel that yes, as a matter of fact, I don't think that it was intentional. I don't think in his particular that Matt intentionally went in and said, I am going to use anger as a weapon. But what happened is the ferociousness and the relevance of his emotion, right? And I think how completely enveloped he was in his role, that the anger came out through as a weapon. It came out from his words. It came out sometimes in his act. Well, a lot of times in his actions, let's be sure, because he gets pulled back a lot of times, even by the Master. I mean, by Missy, there's pulling back. With Clara, quite a bit. There's that. So they're like, hey, tone yourself down. You're not. It's yeah. So I used to watch, and I absolutely adore 11. It's not that. It's just that I think I was looking at the top 10 or 15 scariest episodes in Doctor Who leading up, and he's in half of them. Half of them are his episodes, and the rest are spread out.
Name a couple of those episodes. Can you name a couple off the top of your head?
He kept it because I figured I want to mention that. So let's see if I can find that for you. 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Now, mind you, my research was for a different doctor, but okay.
Okay, that's fine. Do you mind?
When you have notes and you're like, I am prepared. I am ready to talk about this subject. And wait, what, Christian?
Well,
I'm changing it.
Neisha, can I move on to Dr. Freedom and then we get back, or are you ready with that?
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, while she's looking that up, there's a couple others I can throw in right off the bat. One of them was Good Man Goes to War.
There you go.
Remember when she says good men have too many rules, and he turns around and goes, good men don't need rules, and today is another day to remind me why I have so many.
And when Vastra, when he goes, he does that scene goes, and when you take on the people that I love, and Vastra hisses at him, it's like, I was like, oh, it's almost like she's saying you are stepping over something. You are going way too far on this one, and just like So I think he also, you hear the terminology that I've kind of stolen from my friend Patty, the space god, a lot. He shows up at the right time, at the right moment when he's needed, and he puts his verbal foot down and just says, nope, that's not going to happen there.
And Doctor's wife, remember when he turns on Annie and Uncle for when he finds out about the cubes?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He goes completely nuts there. Neisha, while you're looking that up, let me go at Dr. Freedom. Brian, who is your scariest doctor?
Okay, Peter Capaldi.
Oh.
Elaborate.
Because-
I know why. I have my reasons, but elaborate on that one.
Well, I can start with his very first episode where you see the Clockwork Man. He gets thrown down onto the tower, and then they go back to him standing in the doorway, and you really don't know, did he jump or did he push him?
Oh, wow.
That's
never
true.
been answered.
That's very true.
And also later on down the line, especially when we got to towards the end of Face the Raven, when he completely turns on a Shilda, and I will rain hell on you from now to the end of time if you don't save her. And she goes, the doctor wouldn't do that. He goes, the doctor's not here right now. All that's left is basically me. And he just had that fury in his eyes that, drilled through the screen. It was like, whoa, shit's about to get real. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Poop.
It's just
Sorry.
like you don't know it. But I would think everything about Heaven Sent, him by himself.
Yeah, that episode is the best thing I've ever.
Grabbing the doll, knocking on Diamond. I mean, wow. I mean, just the lengths that he would go to, not to get out, but for Clara, for his love for Clara. It's just a testament, not only that, but Capaldi, the man with the brows, who could scare people off with his brows, who can open bottles with his brows. Said in there. Melanie, what do you think of his Dr. Freedom's choice, Capaldi? What do you get? What's your take on that?
I think the great thing about Capaldi's doctor is when he was intense. There was an intensity with 12 when he was doing the speech, the war speech in the bunker, or in that room about war. I mean, there was like there's a smolder that he has, and that he can grow it, not necessarily in he needs to be loud here, but he can also have that same intensity of being very angry, very direct. You are in trouble by being as quiet as a mouse, not even barely regulating the timber and everything. So he really had control over presence. And no, that's scary when someone could be so livid and so completely out there, but they're perfectly calm and in control. And really, that was Capaldi's doctor.
Do you think he had regret about that? Because when he regenerated, he told the next doctor to be kind.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Neisha, you got your list up yet? Or were you able to
So,
go for it?
but this goes the opposite, actually. So, and I think somebody had someone's next doctor I would be giving away if I actually answered this. So I may hold off.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, but in the top 10 scary episodes, Matt's in those episodes. But the doctor who is in the most scary episodes is not Matt, is not 11. So I'm just looking at my research, trying to make sure, right? But I will answer it after you give your answer.
After I give my answer.
Okay.
Which I think if anybody hinted would know what the answer was, but I will table that a little bit there. Neon, what do you think about more of Dr. Freedom's decision on Capaldi?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I feel like his last season, though, I feel like they I don't know if it's just the character development like you're talking about with 6, but it kind of pulled his teeth out a little bit. He felt like he was sort of becoming more the kindly professor, the grandpa. His first season, especially, like, you were like, is this guy going to turn on Clara or what? Like, he's just like, you don't even know what side he's on. He's clearly on his own side. He's clearly got his own agenda. And then he sort of questions, and so he becomes like the space hobo, for a while. And then he's like the kind of the burnout hippie professor. And then we see a little bit of that, at the end of his run. But yeah, I felt like I don't know if it was just like legitimate character development or they just got, they were reacting to the audience being like, he's a little mean. Could you rein it in? I don't know.
Okay. Well, Melanie, we will talk about your doctor as soon as we pay off all these bills that we got to take care of when we return to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, our special Halloween episode, The Doctor Who Scared Me. When we return, please continue to become part of the legend. And welcome back to the Halloween special of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show. What's wrong?
I'm making fun of you, but not on me. So everyone on YouTube can see I'm saying why. So we could just start either keep going or we could
Yeah, please start over. I'm sorry.
Start over again. Okay. I gotta make this again.
Well, the reason why I paused is because my screen on my Skype said your mic is not working, and all of a sudden it flipped back up. So I didn't know if I was coming through or if you were like,
oh, I mute through my mic.
Now.
I mute through the mic, so you don't see the mute on there's too much of a lag when I mute through Skype. So I mute through my mic. Anyway, here we go again.
Yeah. Welcome back to the final segment of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show. My name is Christian Basel. Never mind. Thank you, Dr. Friedman. Thank you for picking up.
There we go.
Gotcha. Oh, thank you all for joining us, all of you fellow Whovians out there. We're continuing our discussion about the scariest doctor out there, this doctor who scared me, and we're continuing our discussion with Melanie Dean and her doctor. Now, I'm going to make a confession with this. When we were doing this poll and deciding who our scariest doctor is, I'm going to say almost unanimously everybody said the same thing. So I had to go for everybody's second choice on this one. Melanie, who is the scariest doctor out there?
For me, it was 10. And I think everybody else, or at least a majority of our panelists, also chose 10. But I think I ended up drawing the straw to be the one that says 10. But in reality, honestly, like everybody else had done 10 and we all had to wait 20 minutes and then, everyone sorted out and then Neisha came on and went, guess what? This is happening. Ah, crap. Had to go figure it out again. So
Do it all again.
So yeah. So I drew the straw to say 10, but we're all going to probably have this conversation now. But yeah. Yes. Which is absolutely fine. It's 10. I think 10 is the scariest.
There you go. And just so you intercede, if you're watching us on the YouTube live chat, go ahead and tell us who your scariest doctor is and the reasons why there. But Melanie, why is David Tennant 10 your scary doctor?
I think he was the scariest doctor because what had happened in and I'm actually
I hate you.
Oh no, it's gonna get worse, Christian. For those people who are watching the YouTube video, look, it's the same one as the Tom Baker that freaks him out, but somebody did with 10. Okay, I love you too.
Kind of cute.
I think the reason I went with 10, and anybody else can chime in, of course, it's because here's somebody who is very manic. He's a very manic personality. He, in all fairness, so was 9. 9 was the same way. If you go back and you think, oh, he was just gruff, 9 was very, very puppy dog-like. He was always happy and chipper, and he was just bouncing back and forth, being a little bit on the manic side. 10 amped that up. And at first, you're thinking, okay, well, his manic thing is exciting and okay, and then now he's just depressed and sad. And then it was happy, sad, until we get to the infamous episode Waters of Mars. And he doesn't just he's no longer sad, he's angry, and he just outright becomes crazy. He becomes, we had this conversation before in another episode about evil. And that when people are, good and evil and with villains, and that some of the best villains are the ones who honestly believe that they're doing the correct thing. See, I have my little videos ready to go. So his whole thing was, the laws of time, are his, and that, they're going to obey him. And you could see that he's getting more and more manic. He believes that he's the one that's going has the answer, that everybody else is wrong. And no, he's going to change everything. So now, not only has he become just evil, he's become chaotic evil. So, you know, there he is on the D&D square now, you know, or that little, where is he? Oh, he's chaotic evil right now because
Time Lord Victorious.
He's the Time Lord Victorious. So yes, we couldn't pick the Valyard. We couldn't pick, you know, all these other things because Christian said no. But here we could go ahead and pick Time Lord Victorious because that's what he, you know, self-proclaimed. This is another. So he's now at this point become dark and chaotic, and by the end of time, he's starting to really unravel. This is and even towards the pinnacle point where he has a gun. This is a doctor who abhors guns. He doesn't like guns. He would never have he's got a gun. And there's the
gun.
And that part, like the Rassilon's back there, and it's all like the cherubim of him, you know, all his people. And you know, some people believe maybe it was his mother that was back there because there's the woman who covers her. She's the one that has great scenes with Wilf about, you know, you never killed a man during war, and he's like, well, I didn't have, you know. That's not something to be ashamed about. But at one point she covers her face. So it's almost like this is a person who literally just a moment ago told, you know, Wilf that, you know, he should be ashamed that, you know, he's never killed a man. But here she's about to watch a Time Lord fire the gun, you know, and she's ashamed of it. So it's kind of like, wait, that this is how far down the 10th Doctor and how scary the 10th Doctor has become.
Can I raise the ante on that? I'll even raise the stakes higher. The ending of the Doctor's daughter. When Jenny gets shot. And then he picks up the gun and turns it to the head of the guy who shot him. And he's breathing hard. And you can see the space god. If there was like a space god monster, it would be emerging from his face. Everything that was being pulled back as far as what the Doctor is, you know, never cruel or cowardly, all that was literally having to pull him back emotionally to remember he's the Doctor. And then all of a sudden he goes, I never would.
Yep. And that's that part where just he's starting to get to that point of snapping. He's not there yet.
And we've discussed in previous episodes my theory about the Valyard, and I say those are the moments the Doctor is about to go Valyard. And this is why and you're more than welcome, guys. Please listen to classic episodes, especially our the Renegade series that we're going to continue on whenever I get a chance. But the Valyard series, where I mentioned that I think the Valyard is not just an incarnation. It's something that the Doctor carries with him. And then at any moment that the Doctor shows weakness, the Valyard shows up. And it's a game that the Doctor keeps playing with. But yeah, you could see that he was holding everything in at that moment and just like, okay, I never would.
Just want to give one honorable mention. There was a scene in School Reunion when he's up against Anthony Head. He's in the pool room and he looks at him and goes, I am so old now. I used to have so much mercy. And that look in his eye, oh man. That was just really there.
But we were warned in the Christmas episode when he goes, no second chances. I'm that sort of man. We were warned that this was coming across when we know about him. Neon, did you have something to say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I was just thinking about the Runaway Bride too, with Ragnos, how he dealt with the Empress.
Oh yeah, when he's up at the
when Donna tells him that you can stop now, and he wasn't gonna.
No. I mean, that's the thing. This Doctor needed a companion to rein him in. And I have to wonder now, he's also being one of the few doctors that didn't want to go. He wasn't interested. Like, I almost wonder if it's like, I've got the power, you know, and I'm not giving it up. Like, I don't, you know, I am not going quietly. And I kind of wonder, like, where would Tennant have gone? Now, apparently he was supposed to do Series 5. That was the original plan. What would that incarnation of the Doctor have been? You know,
I think dark. Yeah, I think he would have went crazy dark, especially after him in End of Time, when he's yelling at Wilf, saying, you know, what are you? You're just, you know, you're old. What are you? Nothing. I could do so much more. To your point.
Yeah.
And he could have done so much more. And I think, honestly, if it wasn't that RTD was leaving and, everyone else was leaving, and he figured, you know what, let me just go ahead and bow out at the same time, I think we would have seen a dark Doctor. I really do.
Yeah, because you can kind of see like some of the threads, that they were maybe thinking about with him, and just put David Tennant in Matt Smith's place in some of those episodes, and just imagine how different they would have been, and he definitely was going down a very, very dark path, and I do wonder if like this Doctor had to regenerate. He didn't want to go, but he had to go. He had to go, and then you wonder, early 11, you saw that anger in him was that like almost like residual. From the 10th incarnation, where he still had a lot of those like unresolved, because he mellowed out considerably. Matt Smith by the end of his run was, he could give a speech or whatever, but he was pretty chill by the end. But early Matt Smith, especially, like you said, dealing with the Beast and all that those kind of even with the Daleks, first time he ran into the Daleks. He just gave him hell. This is he's kicking him, he's freaking out, and that was almost felt like this is some residual anger from 10 that carried over into this incarnation.
Right.
I actually think that was residual anger that comes from the very beginning. I believe that all of the Doctors, and the reason, and by the way, it is 10 who appears in the most the scariest episodes, not 11. Actually, out of all of the top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5, 6 of them have are 10 episodes with the 10th Doctor. So the internet agrees with you.
So quickly, let's go ahead and do this because the show's coming to a bit of an end. It's quite as fun as all these shows episodes that we do there. What I'm going to do is go backwards. What I'm going to do is we have actually a tie for first place as far as 2 of the Doctors being the most scariest Doctors. So I'm going to take place. And remember, what we did was we asked all of our panelists to write in the top 3 scariest Doctors, and we're taking our poll from who the scariest Doctor is. So I'm going to tell you first who didn't even get a vote. Here are the Doctors who did not even get chosen. William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Peter Davison, Sylvester McCoy, which I thought somebody was going to take. There's no way this person would have gotten a vote. Paul McGann. Too sweet of a guy. I threw in War Doctor John Hurt. Those Doctors did not even get a vote. Wow. Just something to think about out there. The bottom rung Doctors is a 3-way tie. Tom Baker, Matt Smith, Jodie Whittaker. I'm actually kind of shocked that Jodie came in to the polling out there.
Well, we haven't really had a chance to see any really dark moments with her yet, and I'm hoping that's something they'll work on in the future.
Me too.
Yeah,
there you go.
I will range.
Can I give one honorable mention?
Yeah, sure, quick.
The one thing that I thought of after we started was William Hartnell. The scene at the end of the very first serial when he's about to bash that caveman's head in with the rock.
Yeah.
Right, with the rock. Yep.
That moment suddenly stuck in my head as we began the show.
And I think that's your first impression of the Valyard. That's from me. In second place, by his lonesome self, Colin Baker. Which means the scariest 2 Doctors, David Tennant and Peter Capaldi. Doctors are the scariest based upon our polling, which is not scientific by any means of the imagination, but hey, there's some fun out there. And because we're getting close to the end of the show, let me go ahead and give my Doctor, which everybody figured out there, Tom Baker. And I'll give you 2 scenes really that I focus on in there. One scene is where he is with the brain of Morbius, where he can just go from laughing to evil within seconds, where he's walking around and Sarah Jane are making fun of them. Chop Suey, the Galactic Emperor. And then Morbius says something in retort, and then he just goes right into Morbius' face and goes, I doubted Morbius. I mean, just scenes like that Tom Baker as an actor who really took on that characterization. One of the funniest scenes, Brian, that I think attributed to there could be an evil side to the Doctor. Shada is the perfect one. at the end of Shadab, where he is questioning the professor's, this could happen to me too. And I think this is the first time ever we were enlightened that a Time Lord could go evil. But the one scene that actually is probably the funniest scene, and I'm going to try to recreate it if I can do it. You probably can't see me on the video there, because he's talking to Romana. They have just assembled the key to time, and he goes, "We can do anything with it. We have power over the entire universe." And he's just saying, "I've got all the power right here. I've assembled the key to time." And then Romana starts freaking out because he does that little eye flutter thing and goes, "Because I can do anything. There's no there's no such thing as free will in the entire universe because I've got the key to time." And then Romana is about to flip out and go like, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Yes, I'm okay, but what if I wasn't okay there?" So that's my doctor in a nutshell. But if you're on the live chat, please continue to chat about it. Or if you're on Facebook, please tell us what is your scariest doctors. But here we are in a nutshell there. I also want to mention Spooky Empire. Our friend Mark Muncie will be out there, our author in resident. You know him best as the man who wrote Erie, Florida. He's got another book coming out over here. He's going to be on the creators track, and he's going to be hosting several paranormal panels. We want to mention Spooky Empire because we do have, if you go right now to Legend of the Traveling Tardis, our 31 Days of Halloween, some of our pictures from the spookiest places, Spooky Empire. Go check them out online out there, folks. I want to thank Dr. Freedom. I want to thank Neisha. I want to thank Melanie, and I definitely want to thank Neon. I want to thank Geeky Sparkles for letting Neon be on the show there. And then tripping over her chair, but that's an inside story. But I want to thank you all for joining us. Happy Halloween. Again, we've just passed our first year in broadcasting. We started the day before Jodie Whittaker became the doctor, and we are on I believe this is our 52nd episode there, and already we've got a huge amount of audience just growing every day, and we want to thank you all for joining us there. And we want to wish you, for those of you celebrating, please be safe out there. Happy Halloween, and always become part of the legend.